as a man, they're like, oh, wow, look at him. He's strong. He's strict. But as a woman, they're like, oh, no, you shouldn't do it like this. It's not nice. And I never take things bad when I get criticism.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
My name is Hayat Blell. I am the general manager of Sunset Beach Hotel. I co-own 2 restaurants called 3 Chicks and a Grill and Paradise Beach Club. I am the chair of Gambia Hotel Association and also the honorary consul of Malaysia to the Republic of the Gambia. So if I had to describe myself in 3 words, first word would be passionate, because I love what I do, especially when it comes to the tourism and hospitality industry. And I think this is where people get it wrong sometimes. They try to invest in things that they're not passionate about in order to just make money. And if you have to do that, I suggest you partner with someone who is passionate, because this is like the key to success, in my opinion. Number 2, I would say creative, because I love building things from the ground up. And a lot of the things I went into, I actually had no formal training or education on, but I was, again, passionate about it. So I learned myself. I, created my own logos for 3 Chicks. I created my own menu designs for Paradise. Like everything we do for our business, although I am not officially trained in it, I actually did myself. And I think this has to do with creativity. And the third one I would say is dedication. I'm dedicated, because I don't give up. I like when challenges are brought to me. It kind of makes me want to do better. So yeah, I think those are the 3 words I would use to describe myself. So what inspired me to create 3 Chicks and Paradise? I would say, I saw a gap in the market. That's number 1. There wasn't a place I wanted to go to at the time. 3 Chicks is over 8 years old now. But 8 years ago, I remember sitting and I was bored. There was nowhere I actually wanted to go that I could just socialize and chill and meet up with friends that, wasn't just a restaurant or a nightclub. So that's when that concept came about. We wanted to have a place where we can connect people, where people felt at home. So if you were alone and you were bored, you go there, you'll meet someone you know. That's how it started with 3 Chicks. And with Paradise, it was the same concept. When it was brought to me, I looked at what was missing in Gambia. And for me, we did not have a luxury beach bar, whereas everywhere I traveled to, this existed. So we tried our best to create that concept to bring something new. So Paradise was one of the first beach clubs. And after that, you can see that there's a trend of people, starting other beach clubs, which is great. That's what you want for Gambia. You start something and you want it to expand and improve on the destination. So one thing that makes all 3 businesses successful would be consistency. I know it's hard to achieve. You can never be perfect. But we, all of us, myself, my partners, my team, we're very hands-on. So we tend to visit our places a lot. We order off the menu a lot. And we correct anything we see wrong. So although you can never get it 100%, but if we see a bad rating, we call a staff meeting. We're like, guys, this is what was said. What can we do better next time? And I think this is what kind of makes all the 3 businesses keep growing. So consistency, hand-on approach, being involved in your business, and at the end, being passionate about it. I keep coming to that, because if you're not, you don't care. You expect someone else to do the job and you get upset that they're not doing it to how you want it done. But if you're passionate, you will actually go there and fix it yourself. And I think that's what we tend to do a lot. that is success, I would say, has a lot to do with my management team. I have a good team. And even when I'm not present, I know they carry on what I've set for them. And I think this is very important. Another thing is tailored customer service. Like for us, I keep drumming it into my team's heads. I'm like, look, although we have 88 rooms, I want every guest that comes here to feel like they're not just another number, and that like this can be their home away from home. And I think because of this, we have a high customer repeat. And what I've done with my team is we created an internal audit team that goes around each department. So we are very hard on ourselves. So just because we're managers, you will find that my front office manager will monitor what the chef is doing. The chef will monitor what the F&B manager is doing. So this is kind of the culture I've tried to instill in the team, is that, the success is everyone's business. And that even though you're a chef, if you see something wrong in the front office department, it's okay to go and do something about it. Another thing is I have a complete open door policy with my team. So no matter who you are, yes, I understand that there sometimes has to be like a hierarchy, like go to your head of department, etc. But what I try to tell my team is we're all human. And sometimes your head of department might not do or might not be able to be there for you the way you want them to. So feel free to come to my office if you feel you're not being listened to, if you feel discriminated against. We try to create a very inclusive environment. And I think if you have a happy team, anything is possible. So I think you need to invest more in that. And that is our strong suit, I would say, in Sunset, because majority of my staff, over 80%, have been here since inception, which kind of helps because, you can get things the way you want. Every time you have a high turnover of staff, what tends to happen is you have to retrain them. And so then you lose that consistency. So that's our trick, I would say. So the one thing that could make a business win or fail in the tourism industry, I would say, is consistency. That's very important. Being hands-on. It's very important that as owners or shareholders or managers that you involve yourself in the operation, And that's something that myself and my shareholders tend to do. We're constantly, present. We're constantly, looking at where things are wrong, as I said, with the hotel as well. And our secret weapon, I would say, for Three Chicks and Paradise would be my husband, Ricky. He just has a flair with people. Everyone knows him. He knows everyone. He knows how to make people feel at home. And it's something that I've tried to learn from him. And he tries to show the team how to do the same. So when he's not there, guests can also feel, our clients can also feel the same. I would say I was always surrounded by very strong characters, very successful men and women in my life who really motivated me. They told me I could be whoever I wanted to be, except that one time in high school when I wanted to become an archaeologist. And I remember my mom and my aunt sat me down and they were like, Hayat, what are you going to do with archaeology in the Gambia? Like, what dinosaur bones are you going to pick? Like, there is nothing. It's like, this is where you're going to end up. And then I think that's the point that made me realize, I was like, oh, I need to find something that would work in the Gambia. And that's when I went into tourism. So slowly I realized, this is where I was born. This is where I grew up. This is where I plan to retire. And I fell in love with tourism because of my uncle, especially. He opened a hotel in 2002, which was actually Sunset. And I just came out of high school. And I remember I wanted to take a gap year. I wanted to explore the world. And he was like, no. He's like, go to the reception. He was like, train. He was like, see if this is something you like. So I did that. And I was like, ooh, I like tourism. It's fun. You get to talk to people. And I think this is this is what shaped me to kind of want to make our country better, I would say, to make the tourism industry better, because again, as I said, this is where I see myself retiring. So it made me more patriotic. So at the end, I think for the question, it's mainly my family that pushed me to be who I am. Bottom line, I love what I do. As I said in the beginning, I genuinely am very passionate about the tourism and hospitality industry. It's not for everyone, because really there's this saying that they're like, if you have an enemy, give them a restaurant. And I'm not sure if it goes exactly like that, but this is true. Like even having a restaurant operating, people see the frills of it at the end and they're like, oh, it looks pretty, but they don't know what you actually go through at the back. You know, the stress that's involved with ensuring that everything is run like properly, you know. I am a bit of a people's pleaser. I am. I like to make people happy. It's like if I see someone happy or, you know, it makes me happy. So yes, it could have something to do with that. But you know what's weird is with Three Chicks, with Paradise, even with Sunset, my team are at the forefront. So some people don't actually know that I'm the one, you know, in the background, like doing all of this, because I don't like the attention. But I enjoy seeing things that I've started succeed. I think it gives me like a little thrill. So I want to do it again and again, you know, like build things from scratch. And then I watch it like grow and I'm like, oh my God, I did that. So I have something that I'm leaving behind. So maybe that's the why, actually. That is the why. As the Honorary Consul of Malaysia to the Gambia, you know, diplomacy and tourism are very much linked. At the end of the day, it's about dealing with people. It's about connecting. It's about marketing, advertising. So what I do is, as on my Honorary Consul role, is I represent Malaysia and Gambia. I make sure people are aware of what Malaysia has to offer. And I actually do the same because I love my country. I do the same for Gambia to Malaysia. And as someone in hospitality, it's similar to what you do. You market your destination, you deal with people, you learn about etiquette. So yeah, it's very much linked. You know, in the beginning, before I got the role, I was like, oh no. But, you know, when I entered it, because I don't like to say no, I always like to try things out. And I was like, no, I can do this. This is good, you know? So yes, it's very similar. My capacity as the chair of Gambia Hotel Association, a few things that I think we can do in this country to improve tourism would be to focus more on quality than quantity. That would be number one. We need more quality hotels, accommodations, eco-lodges. You know, it's not just about having like 100 different ones. It's about having the right ones that can attract, you know, your different target markets. Number two would be to improve on our infrastructure. That's needed. I mean, it's already things that we work closely with GT Board and the Ministry of Tourism to do. So they are already improvements. But of course, we need to also work on better service standards. We need to work on better healthcare. These are all little things that are interconnected that can help us attract, you know, high-end clientele as well. As a woman in this industry, there were a lot of challenges growing up when I was younger. And the reason is because I grew up in a culture where you're supposed to respect your elders. You're supposed to, not talk back to your elders. And being in a managerial position so early on, I found this very difficult, because how was I supposed to discipline someone twice my age, you know? I think the only way I got through this was with time. I found ways to discipline people without being too direct. And I think that's what happens when you're a woman, because as a man, you know, they're like, oh, wow, look at him. You know, he's strong. He's like, you know, he's strict. But as a woman, they're like, oh, no, you know, you shouldn't do it like this. It's not nice. And I never take things bad when I get criticism, regardless of, being a woman or a man. It just makes me wanna do better. And I find ways to, get by. And I think even now, finally, I'm like old enough. I'm in my 40s where people are now younger than me, and I feel a bit more comfortable. I'm just like, oh no, I can tell you off. It's fine. So that helps. I think everything changes with time. But I would say the challenges weren't that big, to be honest. From inception, I had a good team, and maybe it had to do with my previous general managers that I worked with. They really kind of shaped the way for me as well. So that helped. Well, attending all these meetings with a lot of men, at first I was very intimidated because, again, I was a lot younger. Like, I think I was the first female general manager who was in their 20s. So I started very young. And I think as a woman, you tend to, well, for me, myself, I had insane imposter syndrome. I accomplished so much, yet sometimes I look at myself and I feel like I'm an imposter. I'm like, how did I achieve this? There's a wolof word called page. And this is what I always joke with my husband. I was like, I literally feel like I paged my way through success because I just don't like to say no. So when people come up with an idea or something, I'm like, I don't like to say no. So I'll be like, I'll look into it. I'll try, and I end up trying everything. And back to the point of being a woman, no, I don't think it was as difficult. Maybe as well because it was in Gambia. I think people don't realize, but in Gambia, they don't look at, well, in the professional community, there's not much of you're a man, you're a woman. I think as long as you are firm, you speak up, people respect you. This is based on my experience as well. I'm sure other people will have their own experiences, but this is what I would say for me personally. And the moments when I was shyer or I tried to be a bit more quiet because I didn't want to offend people, I found that people respected me less when it came to men. But when I was more confident, they would listen. And I was like, okay, so it's all about how you carry yourself, like fake it till you make it kind of thing. So yeah, I tried to tell myself, like before I go into a meeting, I was like, you're smart, It's like, you know what you're talking about, even if I don't. I'm like, just go with it, pretend you know. And it's always worked at the end. So what's next for me? I actually have a great little idea that I'm working on. I can't talk about it yet, but I can tell you that it's to do with the hospitality and the tourism industry. It's something that does not exist yet. And I think it's something that can also help put Gambia, a little more on the tourism map, to attract a different kind of clientele. So that's what I'm working on because I've seen a little gap in the market. And it's something the shareholders and I are discussing. But when it's finalized, you will know about it. I'll make sure you know about it first. So when I'm not at work, when I'm not at home, work includes my restaurants, so I'm not going to classify them there. Where I love to be, I would say right now, is the paddle court. I'm obsessed with this sport. It's kind of like a mixture of tennis, squash, table tennis, all like merged together. It's a lot of fun and it takes out a lot of my stress. So after work, if I go hit some balls and I feel great, and then I go to bed and I sleep. But yeah, so I would say G7 paddle court is where I'm always at now. But I'd like to, first of all, thank all our loyal clients who keep coming back, whether it is to Three Chicks and a Grill, to Paradise Beach Club, or to Sunset Beach Hotel. It really means a lot, and it kind of shows that the effort we are putting in, that there's something, that there's a reward at the end. So yeah, that would be my message to everyone. Thank you so much.
3, 2, 1.